Alrighty, welcome back. It is looking like the game is going to be underway, so that's something that we can all be happy about. It is Clutch, and it is Born in Far East. So we'll be looking forward to their first map, and actually the first map of ESL Challenger League Season 47. It'll be Clutch to start things off on the CT side, and already picking themselves up a couple of nice frags. It's looking pretty damn good, pretty damn solid for them, until things bounce back a little bit there with that pushover bridge.
Yeah, he's up to defend the site here. Trying to hold off the E-box, but can't unfortunately deal with all of those players swinging him. So CT's a little bit out of position as they try to get some water control. Plant going down is a safe plant. Imagine to take next contact, and he's going to be able to actually take out one of these T's as the rest of the CT's now scaling through E-box side. It's a 180 crossfire, but Morikomo not really peeking off that contact. Has to go all on his lonesome now, though, Jordan. And
well, not going to work.
4K.
Holy cow,
Unreal.
well, yeah, I mean, you'd think the duelie's there, but didn't even get a chance to hit a shot. As you mentioned, Murakumo, pretty solid stuff with the Glock there in hand. Going to go straight into the AK, 4 kills on the pistol, and Born in Far East kind of dig themselves out of a pretty awkward spot in that pistol being down 3 on 5. But that is sometimes the power of the T side, right? When you can enter the bomb side and you can hit the entries cleanly, which is what they were able to do. You can kind of negate some of that numbers advantage. It was really a 3v1 on that B site, so there you go, off they go, and they win the pistol, which is fantastic news on the T side. It's going to allow Meerkat to do a little bit of janitorial duty, perhaps, with that MAC-10.
Shot for him. Good util to set him up as well. Just double progression molly into doors and house. Keep the CTs at arm's length and set up that MAC-10 for close duels. Now a progression molly in towards A main. He takes a few more duels than he maybe should have, but now that's going to be an AK hitting the deck. Can Flame double up? Oh, again, it's Murakumo to get the impact frags to try to avoid getting ecoed here, but it's still looking a little dangerous.
Bomb plant going to go down, though. Definitely be helping out. MAC-10 not really going to be able to do too much work at that kind of a range, so it'll end up being, you'd say, a pretty straightforward round here for Born in Far East. That flash will prompt the peak from Imagine, but unable to really capitalize off the back of it. So 2-0 the start, which was to be expected off the pistol round win for Born in Far East, but now we're straight back into the swing of things for Clutch as they are able to invest in, you know, some degrees of weaponry and not a huge amount of util, but at least it's a buy.
Yep, putting together what they can. Gonna be a glass cannon to kick off the initial gun round here for Clutch. Does seem like he's going to be taking a duel towards house side. Flashed off the line though. Progression volley down into water here for Flame. Wants to just go and dry take that duel. The ping pong of aggression as he makes his way in towards water side. Imagine also applying pressure from bridge, and I had Hastika having a think about going in towards A main there, but Born in Far East waiting out this initial U-tilt. Now going to start to kick off this B split.
Those, and once again, it's the same guy doing the work for Born in Far East, but this time the guns in hand for Clutch Gaming are going to make a big old difference. Clouden with a nice 3k. It's going to be a good start to the map by the looks of things for the CT side as well. Both teams able to get their fingers into the honeypot early. But for Born in Far East, losing the first gun round does mean some economic troubles, and Clutch Gaming are pretty happy with the results thus far, even despite having lost the pistol.
Born in Far East, just investing in what they can. Surprised to not see a hero AK, but instead it's Deagles getting dropped on over to some of the boys. Deagle armor as well invested in, so trying to do some economic damage wherever they can. Again, it's aggression out E-box. This is exactly what I was expecting out of this match, just relentless, wide peeking, and aim duels being taken on timings that you probably wouldn't see in some other regions.
Oh, okay. Well, starting to get what you're talking about a little bit, Pilsky.
That's it. I mean, I think this is what we're going to get, especially in the round robin stage, right? Best of ones, early days, you know, not the best of the best in terms of what we can see in the Asia scene. do get a little bit of, I guess, how would I call it? Rock and stick CS, caveman-esque, just beat each other to death. Some basic pieces of util here and there.
Okay. Speaking of which, a little bit of util getting tossed over toward that B side of the map. The smoke for B main. And in the meanwhile, Born in Far East are well and truly on their way through toward A. Lots of util getting tossed over there as well.
Another smoke bang for Izza to kick things off. Man advantage. Very little util left over here for Born in Far East that are at a man disadvantage, a weapon disadvantage, and a util disadvantage. Someone's going to have to go pretty huge to dig them out of this hole.
Did have to retrieve that C4 as well. A little pop flash out from E-Box, though Flame is not going to push off the back of it, which is, you would say, a wise decision, given it's a 4-on-5. Clutch don't really need to be doing anything at the moment. Born in Far East are going to find it difficult to get into any of these bomb sites, really. Izza in particular has looked quite solid with that AWP so far. And he's over toward A, ready and waiting for the push, which will have to come momentarily. Util's now starting to get tossed. Hastic is on the site as well. Point down maybe just a half second too late, which will open the door up for Born in Far East to actually find that opening kill. But even still, you've got another player on the site to deal with. He's ended up being a 2-for-2 on the entry, which just isn't quite enough to get Born in Far East into a comfortable position.
Looking for the door if he can find it, but in come the rest of the CT scaling in to the site, and that's a nice little cleanup for Clutch Gaming. 3 guns surviving. They're in a very solid position now on the CT side, winning a couple in a row, building up their economy, and the loss bonus not quite enough for Born in Far East to put together enough weapons, really. Maybe a half buy on the cards.
Yeah, not an enjoyable place to be in, really. Murakumo, the only one that's, you know, been setting the scoreboard alight. I mean, Cord is not having a bad game necessarily, but you need more than 3 players going 0 and 5 or 1 and 5 or whatever to actually really challenge Clutch here, who, to be fair, don't look too bad. They seem to be reasonably sharp. They're having a good day so far.
This is kind of what we expected from this matchup. Although we've had a couple of nice little rounds from Murakumo here and there. A little bit of a dry smoke push. The first of many for this season, Jordan. Looking forward to it.
Let's see how far we can go into the depths of Asian CS. Lakio waiting for a push, but not going to get that from Clutch, who, to be fair, on this CT side, haven't really been overly aggressive. We've seen some probing movements towards bridge, but beyond that, they haven't really tried to go too far forward. But Asuka will end up giving that opportunity over to Lakio, but very quickly it'll be brought back. Imagine, doing some fine work with the M4A1S. And a lot of information there for Flame as well. So unlikely that there should be too much coming from this one for Born in Far East, but they are actually getting a bit more damage done than you'd ideally want to see.
It's just one of those high peak moments right there. The Glock swinging out super wide, and the A1S can't really do too much about it. Still, the cleanup Clutch. 3 alive. Izza seems to be having a good one with the AWP. He's had a couple of nice opening kills, smoke banging some of the players on the T side here. Murakumo, AWP comes out for him. He's kind of been the standout so far for the T side, so let's see what he's going to be able to put together. And they do have a little bit more util to play with. But if they don't get rolling soon here on the T side, especially with the cash that Clutch has built up, I don't think this is going to be the T side of Anubis that they would have really wanted. And it is only a BO1, so...
Well, speaking of a bit of aggression that we haven't really seen too much so far, Imagine this time tries to get a little greedy in towards bridge and actually makes it work with that peek down into canals. Overall, a little bit more proactive in this round from Clutch as they're starting to, I suppose, feel themselves a little bit more confident. This time, an overstep, though, as Murakumo, once again, is there to punish and continues to be the thorn in the side of Clutch that is kind of keeping Born in Far East actually in a lot of these rounds and actually in this game at the moment.
3-on-3 is winnable. They need to make the most of it here. Sastika and Win at a standoff. It's an important duel to win. Denying info towards A main. No real chance to scale on in there for Murakumo on the AWP. So it's probably going to have to be Meerkat to make some inroads across bridge. But he's got the space to work with.
Yeah, it's a ballsy play considering he's out in no man's land really with the bomb. And there's only 30 seconds left on the clock here. So if he does go down, then that's pretty much round over. Both of these individuals will need to win their duels. And Murakumo is able to win his at the very least, though. It's prompted a rotation in from Clutch, but it won't matter. Meerkat able to spray both down, and that is going to be another round on the board for Born in Far East. A 2-on-3 Clutch this time.
That's exactly the round they need to win, though, isn't it? Start to get themselves back into this game. You can see the effect that has on Clutch's economy. Not a whole lot of loss bonus built up. They're going to have to burn through a lot of those funds, reinvesting here, and that gives Born in Far East a great opportunity to start to make some inroads on this T half. Regression smoke over towards the B side of the map, as well as E-Box. Murakumo looking for the opening duel with the AWP over onto E-Box side. Flash pushing Clouden off the line and allowing Murakumo to post up. Are they going to start to scale in with this U-tilt? Seems like it, but they've already lost a player on the way through.
Yeah, might have taken a little bit too long if that was what they intended to do as well, because all the util has now been dumped by Clutch, and Murakumo gets drive-byed by Clouden. There was a fair bit of damage in from a nade prior to that as well. Flame with a good trade onto Lakio. And overall, B hit just has not worked out for Born in Far East. Seemed they tried to change the pace up a little bit, tried to pressure the B side a little faster this time around, and didn't work out. So we might see them go back to a little bit of that slower playstyle toward canals, toward A that we had been seeing earlier on.
Creeping through the middle of the map. Trying to create some opportunities doing so. There's a crosshair placement, but imagine not poking his head up. Meerkat and Wind trying to sink themselves a double peak, and it works out beautifully. Cutting through the middle of the map, but Hastoker is hot on their tail here as they make their way into an open A bomb site. Can Hastoker catch them in transition?
Well, Flame on the flank. He's going to move quickly. I wonder if they've been able to hear him. Certainly that Molotov tick would have made a bit of noise, but maybe won't even come into play anyway. Born in Far East, they knew the situation that they found themselves in. They tried to pick the pace up, but and then weren't able to win the 2-on-2 duel, so flank didn't come into effect, and 5-3 is the scoreline with a stabilizing kind of a round out from Clutch.
Only 2 surviving though, so kind of an even result for both teams. Clutch reduced their loss bonus and still burned through a fair bit of their cash reinvesting in this one, whereas Born and Far East, having already built up their loss bonus quite substantially and getting themselves a bomb plant, can still buy up into this round. Given the lack of util though, it's going to have to be looking a little different from them. And Wind is saving while the rest of the boys are buying, so I'd imagine he's going to be sent in somewhere, but it's looking like a bit more of a default looking start to the round at least. Now starting to shape up potentially into a B split through water, but they don't have the util or the personnel to really contest Flame with this progression smoke out E-Box, so they're just kind of waiting around, waiting out the initial CT util here. That's a nice opening pick onto Imagine as well.
They might get Cloud in here too, depending on the timing. Oh, he's going to be able to creep out. He'll get the freebie onto the first, the second as well. Just runs out of bullets, but Meerkat lucky to be alive. It was a slightly wayward second spray. Flames on the fast re-aggression though, and I don't know that they're going to be expecting that one. It does take Hastoker more than half his clip to finish off Lakio, but somehow Clutch have brought this back to the 3-on-3, and now Flames in trouble. The scout is doing too much work. Murakumo, once again, is the difference maker for Born in Far East. What a mad sort of a round as Clutch goes scurrying over toward B.
Yeah, Murakumo putting the plant down. Going to play that post plant from E-box side and an AWP on the retake. Not where you want to be. Azteca, kit in hand for him. Needs to be the man to touch the bomb first. Wide peek there for Murakumo, close on side now, allowing his teammate to take next contact, but Azteca showing his experience, closing out that 2-on-2 with the rifle, retaining the AWP. Like I said, though, it's expensive. One player surviving is not going to be kind to the CT economy here. They're going to, again, have to empty the bank accounts. And Born in Far East with that loss bonus plus the bomb plant, and Wind even saving some extra cash can potentially purchase them up and all.
Yep.
So the fight continues on both sides, but regardless, I think Clutch Gaming with 6 on CT here on Anubis going to be happy with that. Anything else really kind of looking like a bonus for them.
Yep, 100%. I mean, that was the point I was going to make. Even though this is kind of tight, Clutch are doing it the way that they need to. They're getting rounds on the CT side, and for a map that leans 56% of the time, at least towards the T side, this is at least more than par score, actually, for Clutch. So you're exactly right in saying that any round here would be a bonus for Clutch. Would certainly make things easier moving into that second half. Now, a smoke, and the flash causing some problems for the AWPer of Clutch, but luckily he's got a couple of riflers to help him out there. Reset, and the peek for another one onto Lakio. It ends up being far too easy for Clutch in this round. Another indication that the B take for Born in Far East is just not working out.
Wind doing his best, but surrounded on all sides with no bullets in the AWP is no way to win a 1-on-3. 7 for Clutch. They finally soft reset the T-side economy without that bomb plant. Could go down to Galil, but it's probably pistol light armor to buy up in round number 12. And Clutch, they're like the much better of the two teams here. Very well-rounded performance from all of the boys. Couple of little miscellaneous moments, but you'd expect nothing less from Challenger League Asia. Hero AK and a half buy out from Born in Far East, so allowing themselves enough room to buy up into the last round, but still giving themselves an outside shot to take this one away if they can try and steal it.
Well, Deagles can definitely do some damage, but not when Imagine is on the prowl. Azteca not going to be quick enough to avoid the flash, but Mika did not apparently get the memo that Azteca was standing there just blindly spraying, so he'll walk straight into it. In the end, this round has just gone from bad to worse for Born in Far East.
Definitely not ideal. And economic damage, not really a massive issue as long as they maintain at least 2 weapons into this round. They should be alright. But losing the AWP might not be something they can afford to replace. The Deagles looking for any CTs over-aggressing. Will they look close to their own spawn though? Clouden making his way across bridge side. Should make contact with the T's at any moment. Clutch also pushing up over on carpet side. That's going to be it. Pinched in their own spawn. An 8th for Clutch Gaming here. It's again showing the power of the Mongolian scene. But we'll maybe give them a crack later on in the regular season of the round robin against some of the other East Russian teams that placed a little better last season, and see if we could say the same.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't necessarily expect it to be a super one-sided matchup here, but then again, you don't necessarily want to go about underestimating these Mongolian teams. In a lot of cases, even if you haven't heard of them or watched them play, or heard of even any of the individuals on the team, which is, at least for me, pretty much the case for Clutch. Like, I haven't seen many of these guys a lot. And yet, they definitely know their way around the server, so something that continues to impress me about the Mongolian scene. It always seems like a fairly solid team, solid roster of talent, whichever team you end up watching. Another opportunity here for Born in Far East, though, to do some damage, and it could come off the back of this pick. Murakumo, just as the flash pops, is able to hit the shot onto Flame. It looked like a good spot for Clutch to be in, but now Imagine with an almost impossible 2-on-1 Clutch, especially considering he's stuck behind that Molotov. Flash himself out onto the line. You have to hit some absolute bangers of shots, though that Molotov will help, and a headshot here would go a long way, but won't quite get there, and 8-4 is the scoreline of the first half. Alrighty, jumping back on into the second half, 8-4, a solid lead for Clutch Gaming, especially considering they were able to get that one on the CT side, Pilski, and you have to be looking at this one as their map to lose.
Absolutely. Born in Far East, all starts with the CT pistol, which maybe you play like the T pistol. Trying to aggress E-Box, trying to aggress bridge side. Duels being taken right and left, at least a couple going the way of Born in Far East, but now with this pressure coming over onto double doors, how is Lakio getting away with this? He should be dead to rights, but Izza can't finish his breakfast. And this is looking like a CT pistol to me, Jordan. Look at that.
What a mess. What a mess. Well, Lakio, you got to tip your hat to him. Nice pistol round. Given a couple of opportunities by Clutch, and certainly given an inch and taken a mile in that case, Clutch will be pretty disappointed. They haven't been able to pick up a pistol in this map. It could have been actually quite an easy map for them had they won one or both of those pistols, but at the very least, Born in Far East doing a good job on the CT pistol is going to give them a bit of a sniff back onto the map.
Yeah, no plant either for Clutch, so back to the drawing board. A few upgraded pistols. A little bit of a Zeus on flame. Try to take at least some CT guns away. Meerkat's doing the old cartoon shooter approach of, I'm just going to buy myself light armor this round with the USP. Not really something you see in CS2 at all. But, or in CS in general. But I can understand the approach of just saving an extra $2,000 and trying to pick up one of the boys' weapons.
Yeah, he's playing quite far back in the B side anyway, so you'd hope probably doesn't have to have much of an impact on this round either way. We'll trade the gun out with Wind, who is going to walk right into the Zeus.
That's probably best case scenario, to be honest, is he couldn't have taken a Glock bullet, but he can dodge a Zeus shot.
I tell you what, if I'm Flame there and I get the kill anyway, you're a bit disappointed really if you get a USP out of it.
Yeah, but it's all worth it for the sound, which I know you love to make, Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Here comes Clutch, and they could still do a bit of damage here with a good entry, actually. There's a low HP member, so another trade goes through, and this might just be a bomb plant. It is.
It's huge. Extra bits of util. Make a big difference. Full belts of util might even be able to get a cheeky AWP on Izza, who was a little bit more responsible than the rest of the boys with his money, and he even got a kill this round. So 5.8k for him if he wants to go for AWP. Could even skip the head armor or just go no util. Yep, AWP, no util. So an early AWP timing for Clutch Gaming that they may not have had access to otherwise, and that's looking pretty good in a round such as this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't want to be letting Born in Far East get a bit of a roll on this CT side. It's not an unlosable game for Clutch Gaming at this point, despite being in quite a solid position. Looks like they'll try to probe toward that B site, at least initially. And Imagine and Hastika have been given the job of doing that. A lot of space being granted, actually, as Flame's now in there as well from main, and Imagine's hit 2 banger entries. One a trade, one just a good old-fashioned peek. And that is the B site cracked on open it. Initially, it looked like it would be a default setup from Clutch, but Imagine has taken this round and run with it. Maybe he's run a little bit too far, though, as he does give up his life to Meerkat.
Attempted the retake here. Fair bit of util. Meerkat's got himself a kit. Call him Meerkit. I know, by best work. Nice late cheat nade over onto the pillar there. Going to soften up Clouden, and they can use whatever damage they can get with these weapons they're bringing into the 3-on-3.
Well, that's a good way to start things off for Clutch, with Flame opening the account. And as time ticks away, Born in Far East unfortunately starting to run out of said time. Clouden going to have an easy time of things, you think. Sitting inside the smoke, and eventually does get the trade onto Izza. And that is another round on the board for the Mongolian squad at 9-6. The scoreline deficit will grow, and unfortunately the CT economy is not quite doing that, so they're in a bit of a sticky situation here with only 3 players being able to afford to buy.
Yeah, you're definitely forced here though. You're on that double eco territory. So look, 2 rifles and all. You can make a buy like this work on the CT side. He's got to be a bit clever about it. That's for Clutch Gaming though, a big chance. In fact, it's a bit of a swing round either way, with one player surviving and neither team really having any loss bonus built up. So an important game-defining round here, especially in a best of 1. Smoke onto E-Box side for Clutch Gaming. They've again applied a lot of util pressure, but with Meerkat on the MP9 in front of that util, knowing that there's no B exec coming in after the pressure, I think Born in Far East in a reasonably comfortable spot. Util very sparse for both teams, but that's a massive kill for Lakio. Not only the man advantage, but also clearing out bridge in the mid round like that is going to be very, very important for the CT side. Almost a second pick for Murakumo, posting over on E-Box side, pushed off by the flash.
Yeah, but they've given up the entirety of A, so if Clutch could maybe just keep some members alive here toward the B side of the map, those guys could have walked into A and get a bomb plant down, but not going to be the case as the peaks continued from Hasaka, and obviously the aggression from Born in Far East will throughout the B side of the map, and now the CT is getting a bit of a better understanding of what might be happening over on A. Missed shot from the AWP, and Clutch will not be doing it the easy way. They are going to be made to work for this map.
Cleaned up, and exactly that. I mean, this is how quickly a game can turn around in a best of one. Of course, just one of two best of ones that we have tonight. To get two cheeky back-to-back best of ones, and then in the some of the future Challenger League broadcasts later on in the season, you're going to get a couple of different games, which gives back-to-back not only just in this league, but in multiple regions as well. Which gives you a nice little flavor of some different regions and a lot of the different teams that are participating. Bit of a different kind of approach to a CS broadcast, I think, which is cool. Bit of a spice life variety, perhaps.
Clouden. Not really going to be able to find too much success pushing in the smoke.
It's optimistic, to say the least. And rather classic.
Now it's Flame's turn to have a bit of a crack on his own in mid. Nade won't quite make short work of him, but the second will. So Kumo is setting things up nicely, though. A little bit of damage from Hasaka at the very least is going to get Born in Far East thinking. He can find one or two more. Oh, he actually had a pretty good chance of doing so there, but not this time around. And wow, Born in Far East are still keeping this one pretty competitive.
That was a very poorly constructed T-side round and a critical gun round, has to be said. I mean, the try push B main, this is where I do, I haven't got to do this in a while, Jordan. But they really fumbled the bag on an important little force there. It's just like Clutch, dry push through the smoke A main, and then the dry contact across bridge to try to take a rotator off of A, and then kind of just fighting out A main with no util and getting picked apart exactly in the fashion that you'd expect. Gives Born in Far East a massive inroads into this game. Not only are they going to be evening this game up at 9 apiece, but they're going to have the money to potentially fight for the W in a game that wasn't particularly close. That was a very nice shot from Flame, though, which is going to make the CT side a little bit nervous. Starting to see a shift in the rotations now. Push over through A main side. Going to start harassing the middle of the map as Cordy gets that pick over onto bridge.
Could be a huge timing, though, in mid from Izza if he's not checked. And he will be checked, but he's just gotten around the corner in time. Meerkat's going to go down anyway, and this is going to really cause some problems for Born in Far East. In the end, they have been able to bring it back to a 3-on-3, and the flank didn't really come into effect, but there's another flank now going through from Flame into CT. Seems like maybe Born in Far East are just going to be able to salvage the situation. Deagle shots here, still doing some work. Lots of damage to the CT economy, if nothing else. There's one more kill from Flame, and he might just get it done, but eventually chased down by Lakio in the end. A good effort, though. 4 kills in Clutch Gaming. They'll be disappointed they couldn't get that one over the line because they really had every opportunity.
Yeah, somebody else needed to pitch in a little bit. Can't get B-Flame with just a Deeg getting all the work done himself. Some good damage done to the CT economy, though, taking 4 guns away from them in this current game state where they don't have the loss bonus built up, where you're at 9 apiece. Max loss bonus on the T side is actually very doable for Clutch Gaming. They economically are in a favorable spot to fight for this game on the more forgiving T side. They just need to put the pieces together, get a couple of good gun rounds in, and keep this one competitive. And they could actually potentially open up a reset window at the end of this best of one to get things done. Still not there yet, though.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where, I mean, you can tell that the pressure's on a little bit more. Ooh, cheeky little A main util take there. And opening pick goes the way of Wind over on the B main side. Looks like a progression smoke out B main was attempted with a dry walkthrough from Flame, and that was insta-punished. So now Clutch are trying to pick up the pieces with an A split through mid side. But look at this mid crunch coming out from Born in Far East. This is very dangerous territory.
Well, good frag forward to keep it in check. A trade from Imagine, but he himself can't get more than just the one. So again, for Clutch Gaming, down to a 2-on-4, and this T side has really just not done a whole lot. Born in Far East have come on swinging into the second half. Adam with a decent chance here, though, playing close with the AK, but can't land any of his shots, and there's just no chances in AWPA that you're going to win that one. So for the first time in the map, it really feels like it is actually on Born in Far East to close it out.
Oh, for sure. This is a pretty big fumble for Clutch. Couldn't get a single pistol. They were looking the goods in the gun rounds for the majority, and the majority of this game looking like the more favored team, but this T side has been absolute shambles, has to be said. Tech 9 armor buy coming in here for Clutch, and a hero AK. Definitely not done and dusted just yet, and this is the power of the full loss bonus T-side economy. Look at them all sending it straight across bridge. Will Accio get caught out of position here? Only goes 1-for-1. Now pressure on Cord, trying to hold on to this A site control, and he also goes 1-for-1. So we end up in a messy 3-on-3. The CT's locked behind that smoke on the rotation, and the T's setting up the post plant, but Imagine gets caught through the side of the smoke.
Still winnable, though. Murakumo, oh, you wouldn't have thought he'd make a mistake there. Does get taken down. Hastika, big job to do, though. Has to try to find these last two remaining CTs before they crunch on into him, and his position now known is going to make the job very difficult indeed. There's nowhere to go. And Born in Far East, they're going to go up to 11 in this first best of one, which is certainly going to put a dampener on the spirits of Clutch, who felt that they were doing a good job on this map, but have really let it slip between their hands.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it has to be pointed out, if Born in Far East, in this first game of Challenger League Asia, get the dub, they have already equaled the amount of games they won last season. So we're starting off on a very different note here for this East Russian team, perhaps. Just need to get it across the line. Decent economy, at least one buy in the back pocket here for the CT side. Clutch Gaming, though. Another chance. Trying to push their way back into this game that they're currently letting slip right through their fingers. Progression smoke over onto E-box side and onto the B side. Applying a little bit of that util pressure. And again, here for Born in Far East. This util set to try to molly that A side defaulter out of position, and HE need the smoke to catch him in transition. Kind of mistimed, but it does give them a little bit of info. And Clutch, it's just this slow progression of utility taking E-box control and setting up for this B split, but all of that util has tells. And Born in Far East with 3 players strong on the site.
Yeah, I'm going to dump a lot of util, though, and there's still quite a bit of time left in this round, so as that fades, Clutch are going to be given the opportunity to start to work their way in and plus some of their own util. Flashes going up sky high. Flame on the entry. Judy's is doing a pretty good job of that, but there's still one more member, and Wind is holding on to the site solo for the moment. Will ultimately fall to Flame, who's found the triple in this round, and it might finally be a modicum of success for Clutch on the T side.
Starting to think about how to min-max the money here in Born in Far East. These close games on the CT side, lose too many guns and things can start to get out of control. Lakio going to win that duel, pick himself up an AK for his troubles, and Cord chipping down the number of guns that Clutch Gaming are bringing through into the next couple of rounds while they reduce their loss bonus. They need to be careful not to lose too many guns of their own. Since they reduce their own loss bonus, they could also open up a bit of a reset window right at the end of the game. That would be a cruel way to drop this best of one. So after all said and done, 2 apiece surviving on either side. Plenty of cash to reinvest here for Born in Far East, and In classic fashion, we end up in a pause.
Yeah, right on the moment where you really wouldn't want one. Someone's probably having some kind of tech issues, some sort. Might be Meerkat. Hasn't invested in anything. So hopefully that'll get sorted. Particularly because these two teams do have to play another best of one as well. I've been informed reliably that it is 2 separate best of ones, not a BO2. So, I don't know. I mean, like, is there a chance that they play the same map again? What do you reckon? Like, if you're in Clutch's shoes right here, and you do end up losing this map, are you gambling on it again?
You don't think about that, like, especially in a big round robin format like this. You just kind of just like, yeah, whatever. Let's go again. Best of one. Whatever map you end up on is whatever you end up on. Should be like kind of a reasonable chance. I don't think in a big round robin format like this, you're really obsessing too much about exactly what map you're playing, or trying to get too big of an edge. Just kind of end up on one of 3 maps that it's going to be, and see how it goes. I think more so when you get into the playoff section of the league is where you start thinking about those kind of things a bit more.
All right, straight back into the swing of things. And Clutch, I mean, it's not over yet, obviously. It's just a map that could still very much go to overtime. It has that kind of vibe, particularly with Born in Far East not having a huge amount of money. They get reset on a poor timing. This could still go all right. Lacchio for one. Oh, and Cord very nearly caught out there as well. There's a smoke, but imagine he's the type of player that looks like he wants to go through it. Decides better of it. Missed util. Pressure getting to both teams.
So clever from Clutch after the long pause. Massive pace change. Imagine just diving straight into the other team's spawn. Wind finally puts him down, but look at the wrap from Flame. He's got this round done and dusted. He just needs the time to be able to convert it, but has been heard by Meerkat. That man is very switched on. Unfortunately, his mouse does not seem to be, as he looks straight into the sky. He's playing the pivot position. Unfortunately, just gets nailed through the smoke. And Clouden is wondering where all the boys have gone. Got to complete a 1-on-2 at a very critical juncture here.
Definitely a winnable 1-on-2 though. They haven't been able to clear out his position, and time is now of the essence. He's spotted that no one's on the bomb, and they've lined up for him. Clouden finds a huge Clutch 2v1
Look at the
right
money.
on the precipice, and as you say, that money is very poor indeed for Born in Far East.
What a impactful 1v2. That's literally the game on a silver platter from Clouden. Oh, and Born in Far East in a very strange money position, opt to just force to even up the cash. MP9 armors, pistol armors, and a singular N4 is not what you want to be fighting for a BO1 with. And Clutch, after the pace change, works out beautifully for them in a bit of a scrappy mud wrestle. They're going to go for the contact play towards the B site here yet again, trying to use that weaponry advantage. Look at the things being dished out here by the CTs, though. Wind's going wide. Man's out for blood right now.
Flame ready and waiting for the push, although might have needed to be a little bit readier. Still, he's going to be able to get himself out to safety with that headshot. But it's starting to go a bit wrong here for Clutch Gaming. I've already lost a couple of players. They've lost a lot of map control as well. Cord is taking a risk by pushing in canals, but that risk is paying off. They've got a lot of information, the CT side.
Clutch Gaming just slowing things down, knowing they've still got a pretty significant weaponry advantage, but it's not really doing them too many favors. Another shot from Ninja, a 1D from Murakumo, all on Iza. A nightmare scenario, 14 HP, and he gets put down as well. 12-11 for Born in Far East after losing a money resetting 2-on-1. This is exactly what I was talking about. Remember all those guns that Clutch Gaming were drip feeding round to round to round on the T side while reducing their own loss bonus, and now 3 of them with 2.5k on match point. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, that is very disappointing for Clutch Gaming. This should have been their game. Should have been their map. They worked so hard. The first half looked so good. And then they've reset the CT economy at a very important juncture, and still with all those opportunities, they are facing what should now be a 13-11 loss. I mean, think about the big upgrade that Born in Far East get on that round. 2 AKs and an AWP out of it. Clutch could have done this so much easier than they're now going to have to do.
Ooh.
That AK, though, is putting in some work at the very least from Clouden.
Massive kill as well, dink for dink. But yeah, big impact from Clouden, picking that A main player. That's a util set hitting the floor. Going to start to pull the CT rotations apart a little bit, and some pressure on the middle of the map as well. Reducing the info that Born in Far East has access to. They're only 2 apiece on either side, and in comes this massive push through E-Box.
Oh, Molly, the timing on that is going to be pretty good. It'll start to hurt Clutch on their way in, but they are finding their entries, and there's not been a single trade, so it will have to be a 5-on-3 retake from the CT side. I think we might just be going to overtime. Clutch Gaming have been able to pick themselves up an AWP. That's in the hands of Imagine. And so far, Born in Far East are more concerned about what's happening on the flank than what's happening in front of them, which is not what they need to be focusing on right now. Short of a miracle defuse in the smoke, I just don't see this one happening, and they've almost kind of smoked themselves off with that smoke that's been thrown into CT's 4 still. Meerkat's found one, Wind another, and, well, time is starting to run out here. Meerkat, he's just not going to get it done. There is no time at all, and Clutch will stumble over the line into the OT, but they get there at the very least.
Good to see kind of ping everyone's playing on as well. Something we haven't had to consider for a little while in the OS region. But I think 60 and 80 ping, you know, you're both kind of playing on somewhat even ground. Which is probably what you expect to get from a lot of these teams, Mongolia, China, East Russia, etc.
Yeah, but, I think particularly Mongolia and East Russia.
You get the kind of occasional bloke who's playing on like Handy, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That'll work out.
Oh, I can't wait for even more of that over the next little bit with you, Jordan. Just those kind of plays. That's what we're here for.
Look, he's kept going as well. He's just walking straight through mid. It's got all the way into cave. He might actually...
He's just won the round, yeah.
He's going to kill someone on B now as well. Boom, off you go.
If not Meerkat as well.
Might get 2. Why not? Let's go for 2. There you go.
He's just won the round by himself.
Imagine doesn't care.
So Imagine spiritual successor. So I don't think I've ever seen the Oceanic Imagine send it quite that hard.
No. At least maybe not for the last 10 years.
Don't even know how many years it's been since we saw him play. At least 2015, almost 10. 16, 15, 16?
Something like that.
First round going to Clutch. Off the back of a very energetic mid-push from Imagine in OT. He's had enough. He knows that they fumbled the bag this game. And he wants to right those wrongs. They can't win a pistol, but there are no pistols in OT, Jordan, and that's the good news.
Yeah, I suppose so. God, imagine the difference that one of those pistols would have made actually for Clutch. Double AWP's going to be the option of choice for Born in Far East, apparently.
Yeah, they need to be careful with their money, though. 12.5 KOT. I think it's fine. You can get the drops going. Murakumo said, I'm not going to buy any util for the double AWP fund. They won't be skipping a piece of util here and there in OT, though, if this one doesn't go well. And they don't save, of course. And that pressure coming in here for Clutch is a bit more of a defaulty looking round. Once again, Flame is just he just keeps underarming this smoke, walking out of it and getting absolutely domed every time.
Well, I don't know what to say about that, but either way, Clutch are going to try to work their way into the B-bomb site. This time it's Hastakar. Nice spray control. But he left himself a little bit too much to do with the position that he found himself in, and Winders put together a pretty good round there before eventually being brought down to his knees. Now it's on to the AWP counterpart of Izza to try to save the day. This is a nice move into the CT spawn.
Yeah, full belt to util as well. Get himself in a post plant on a pivot position. Get the right piece of util down on the right timing. Maybe even catch one before he gets into that post plant position. He's going to wrap. He knows he can catch a player over here towards his backside. So that's a freebie for him. Now considering his options.
Well, he has plenty of them, because there's no CTs anywhere nearby, and he's also got a bit of time to work with too, so looks like he'll make another correct read in heading toward that B bomb site. Izza might have actually given himself a really good chance of winning this round now. He's got a full belt of util, smoke onto the bomb site. He's going to plant inside of that. Where does he decide to throw the molly, if at all?
These CTs don't have kits, by the way, in OT. So unless they can run over onto Ninja side or back on towards CT spawn, this could be a 10-second defuse kind of jam.
Well, I would say Sloan said he wins the race, but in this case, probably the alternative for Born in Far Eastern. In fact, Izza just holding on the corner. He's going to be gifted 2 1v1s, and that is another round for Clutch. 14-12. Speaking of Clutch, there's one for you.
And down to an MP9 in OT. Again, jamming the double AWP. And the side effects of just jamming double AWP over and over again is exactly this. You miss a primary weapon here or there. You're missing util in overtime, and you're missing kits. So if you end up in a long drawn out XVX like that, that's the things that 1v3s are made of. Mirakumo making use of the double AWP though. Shotgun style over on B main.
Oh
He's
my
just going to
God.
kill the whole team himself. This is ludicrous.
Oh, Izza, yeah, goes down as well. So that's the ace, and that's what it requires to at least get one round on the CT side of Anubis in the OT. What madness are we watching tonight? 14-13, favoring Clutch. I don't even know if that's the pass score. Like, traditionally, you would probably say, yeah, 2 rounds on T's the pass score, 1 round on CT. But based on this game, at least, it seems like in this matchup, the map is CT-sided. So, very hard to say.
Yep, it's Asia. It's hyping Asia gameplay. Anything can work. That's why we love it. Ooh, a little bit of a stand up on the AWP. Double AWP on the T side, mind you. That might be the ping diff going on.
It's working out so far for Wind. This will be the equalizing round back to 14-14 if it goes the way of the CT side. Of the T side, I should say. And Clutch on the CT side have some struggling to do, but it doesn't really seem like they've got any avenue back into this round, really. Particularly when Wind is watching that mid-rotate. There's a Molotov in the way as well for Flame to try to get past, and Cloudon's down now as well, so that looked like a very straightforward round in the end, actually, for Born in Far East.
Easy as you like, double AWP T side. Like I said, anything can work. They made it look pretty good. Holding angles with AWPs. Clutch walks straight into them. Nice little equalizer. See if they're going to retain the double AWP. They have every opportunity to just get rid of it. Run into the next round for rifle. Yeah, that's going to be it. Wind. Just holding angles over on bridge side. Nice little 3k for him. AWP comes out for Izza here. And it does seem like they want to keep the double AWP.
But ain't broke, don't fix it.
I wonder if it was even seen by Clutch, to be honest. Because Cord got the other 2 kills. Wind got a 3k on bridge side, so they might not even be aware there's a double AWP.
Well, hopefully they'll be made aware of it relatively shortly, though. Wind out of the picture already. And Cord might have to be the point of resistance to bring her back. That's a very sharp shot onto Flame. Cloudon, the response prompted is a push out of B main, and it's not a bad thing to do in this circumstance, though he's got to be careful that he doesn't lose his life to Meerkat as he continues to push his way forward. Meanwhile, Born in Far East are trying to make their way into the site, and now they get the info, which comes a little bit too late. That said, when Murakumo is alive, you sense that there is still a chance for Born in Far East. It won't come this time around, and it is Clutch that have map points.
Stuff from Izza, dealing with one of those AWPs in the AWP v AWP duel. They're going to reinvest in the double AWP straight away. So it is very intentional from Born in Far East here in OT to continue going for that style. Map point here. Over on the side of Clutch to finally get things across the line. Would be a bit of a missed opportunity for Born in Far East to start off their season with a dub after only securing one in the previous season. It'd be a decent win for Clutch as well. They only got 3 wins in the regular season last time. 4 stack on B. Hasteker left on his lonesome over on A main side. The push through B main and the info found over there, though they're just trying to play the long game here. Keep the T's at arm's length over on the A side of the map. Izza's rotated on over here, but the flank not coming through from Clouded. So just wanted to maintain the info that they have already. Bomb finally picked up by Meerkat. Lakio looking like he wants to apply some pressure towards E-Box, or at least just deny some info over there, but Flame throwing down the smoke going to make that one difficult. There's the info denial from Born in Far East. Want to dot their I's and cross their T's before they actually kick off an A exec.
Oh, Hasteker with the timing on the swing to get himself one and another as well. Good flash in there from Izza. Nice coordination from Clutch, and they might just have done enough to net themselves a map victory here. Lakio may have something to say about it, but he's going to have some util to keep him at bay. And with only 30 seconds left on the clock, that is going to be more influential than you might think. It's all about timing here for Clouden. He has to buy as much of it to allow Clutch to come across. Hasteker is going to lose his life. Murakumo, 32 for the map so far. And a couple more might get the win on the board for Born in Far East, but it's not going to come off of his AWP. And now Clouden strikes again. Surely it's over. There you go. Clouden finishes with a double kill on the B side, and it is 16-14 for Clutch as they pick up the map victory on